Continuing our video tutorial series on new Google Sites, we are going to talk about the last set of insertion tools, which is the Insert Google Docs. Now, technically, 4 out of 5 of these are already covered by the Insert Google Drive from Drive tool. So basically, if I were to insert from Drive, whatever I grab here, it's going to use the correct insertion tool to do it. So this tool is pretty smart. If, however, you want a little bit of help sort of narrowing down what is a doc, what is a slide, what is a sheet, and what is a form, this tool will definitely help you. So if I went to insert Google Docs and Docs, it would only show me Word documents, Google documents, and PDFs. Those are the only things that it would show me. It would not present me with any additional file types. So it definitely narrows things down for me. If I'm searching, it's only going to search things that qualify as docs. Whatever I happen to select, it will go ahead and insert those in to the document, and I can resize as appropriate. I can move around, I can move them to different sections, just like all the other tiles that I would add. If I were to go ahead and take a preview of this, you can see here on the phone, kind of a little tiny window hinting like, hey, you might want to click on this link. It'll open it up, and now they can, on their phone, kind of zoom in and start viewing the document, follow any active links, print it out, that sort of thing. On a web interface, same deal. Pops up in a window where they can print, and whatever access they might have to it, they can then use that access. All right. Underneath that is slides. Slides will only look for Google Slideshow and Microsoft Office PowerPoint files. So it can be very useful. If I wanted to create a sliding photo gallery, for example, I could create a Google Slideshow and make every slide a picture, and I could insert it onto my site. To make it a automatically playing, showing slideshow, I would go to the settings, which appear when I select that tile. And I could tell it to automatically start, automatically loop back to the beginning, and how much delay between each slide. If I were to preview that, if I were to preview that, there we go, and I scroll down, I can see without anyone even touching it, it starts playing, and then when it finishes playing, it goes all the way back to the beginning, and it starts over again. Another cool thing about this is if I had a presentation stored here, and I was using my site as a means to deliver content to an audience, I could, scroll through the content and say, first we're going to watch this video. Now we're going to go over this here documentation. And now I'd like to draw your attention to this slideshow. And from here, I could start showing the slideshow. And I have full control over it. If I forgot my laser pointer, they have a built-in laser pointer for you. When I'm done with the slideshow, I can just close it down and then continue where I left off. So a very cool and powerful tool at your disposal. All right, underneath that is Sheets. So if I go to Insert, Google Docs, Sheets, Sheets is only going to look for Google spreadsheet files and Microsoft Excel files, and it's going to look for Google Forms. The reason it's looking for Google Forms is because there is an option with Google Forms to back up your data, your collected information, on a spreadsheet, so they are sort of still connected to each other. All right, here's a cool example of something you can do to recreate a table. So classic sites had tables, new sites do not. I could go in to a Google spreadsheet and build a table and then use this insert spreadsheet tool to add it to my site. See? So now I have a table, and I can resize it and move it around. And now users could come in and see this content on my site. If they needed to get to that information, they could always click to make it larger, access the document, that sort of thing. Keep in mind that anything from my Google Drive that I am inserting into my site, my audience has to have permission to view those things, or they're just going to show up as non-functional boxes or not show up at all. So you do have to keep your audience in mind when you are inserting Google Documents, because the permissions set in Google Drive apply no matter what. So no matter who you gave permission to see this website to, if they don't have permission to view this spreadsheet, they will not see this table, so they will not see this information. How does it look in preview? If I scroll down, you can see that the sheet is there. If there were multiple sheets, I could click between them. If I wanted to, I could open it up in a new window. And from here, I can share it, print it, all that good stuff. If I was given editing rights, I could edit it, I could change it. And these Google documents, part of what makes this so great is that if contact table needed to be updated, I could update contact table, the document, the Google spreadsheet, and the changes would be reflected over here. So here you see accounts payable. They've got a phone number of 475-5511. Well, if I were to go into Google Drive and I would go to the contact table, accounts payable, maybe they changed the name of their department. Now they're accounts payable deluxe, right? And now they have a 443 area code. All right, so if I go over here and I go to preview the page, if I were to scroll down to that table, you can see, hey, accounts payable deluxe and a 443 area code. The changes automatically went through. They automatically stayed as up to date as possible. Very powerful, very cool stuff. So really start thinking outside the box. How can I embed Google Drive content, Google Docs, G Suite content to my new site to make things easier, more innovative, and more interesting for my visitors. All right, the next one is forms. This literally just puts a Google form right on your site. So you have to have built the form first. Once the form is built, you select the form you want to insert. You insert it. You can resize it. You can move it around. You can do all those things. Now, of course, I have selected a form that I've already filled out, so that's not a very good example. Let me select a different one. Here we go. Whoa. Here I've selected multiples, so I'm just going to delete these extra ones. Okay. And again, just like image tool and insert from Drive, if you select multiple things to insert at once, it will dump all of them onto the page at the same time, and then you will need to sort it out. Okay, so this is a pretty good size. I'm going to go ahead and publish it. No, I'm going to go ahead and preview it. We're going to cover publishing in the last video. Don't want to jump the gun there. If I scroll down, I can see that the Google form is embedded into my site. I can fill out the form without ever leaving the site. When I'm done filling out the form, I can go to submit it, and it will be submitted automatically from the page without having to leave. Maybe the audience decides that they want a bigger screen. They can always click here, and it will open it up in the normal Google Forms interface. Give them the full screen so that they can go ahead and do what they need to do. All right. So now, the last thing, and probably the coolest thing about the Insert Google Docs set of tools is charts. So, a chart is generated from data, and the data is stored in a sheet, either a Google spreadsheet or a Microsoft Excel document. You have to have built a chart already. And if you aren't sure how to build a chart, you will need to find out how, and you will need to build a chart before you can take advantage of this cool feature. But I'm going to show you, if you had a spreadsheet document and you were generating a chart from that spreadsheet, you could use this cool tool. So we're going to go to Insert, Google Docs, and Charts. You're going to find a document that has a chart associated with it. I know that this particular one right here does, so I'm going to insert it. It checks the document and will show me a list of all the charts that are present. I select the one I want and I hit Add. Now a chart has been added to my Google site and it looks pretty good. The coolest thing about this chart is that it updates live. So if the spreadsheet document that this data is being generated from were updated or changed in any way, that data would be reflected over here. So if this purple data became smaller between meetings and we popped up this page, it would be smaller. So whatever changes are made to the spreadsheet, they change the shape and size of the chart, which then is reflected over here on the page. So these are charts and graphs and pie charts that automatically update live as your data changes over time. So you can imagine how cool that would be if you were working on a particular project, you had a site to manage that project, and your key data was being updated and tracked live as you worked on the project and presented that website to your audience over the course of the project. All right, we have now covered all of the insertion tools, and that's all there currently is. As more tools are introduced, we'll make more videos to cover them. The next couple of videos are going to cover the sharing and collaborating features, the publishing of a site, and also building pages and organizing your navigation.